Yeah, let's get going. I just want to make
Let's go.
sure. Good. Kind of. I got a fresh cut, but I think this is gonna kind of like look a little better. Tight. All right.
What's going on, guys? It's Yahavy, St. Clair Speaks. You are now tuned in to the St. Clair Speaks Show.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the St. Clair Speak Show, guys. I am sitting here with a special guest. Now, this brother doesn't need an introduction because his name speaks for himself. This is Coach Justin Jenkins. Justin, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well, bro. How you doing, man?
Hey, you know, iron sharpens iron, so you know I'm feeling sharp right now, man. I see that lineup, man.
Come on, we here.
I see
we had
you.
to get it done.
Yeah. That means we in alignment right now. See, our lines are straight. We're on the right path. I like that.
Right.
Yo, I want to talk to you. Let's dive right into it, man. Like, for those of you that don't know, Coach Just, of course, is a coach. He's a health and fitness professional. You know, his background, I mean, of course, he could speak more to this than I can, but he's been a huge inspiration to me as of lately to like reignite that fire within for me to like do this cardio and do this high intensity training and get after it again. So, you know, Justin, before we begin, like what got you started in the health and fitness industry, man?
You know, we could take it as far back as being an athlete. So I've been an athlete all my entire life. So after 12th grade, when I was playing basketball, I try to pursue professional basketball. But, you know, with injuries and things of that nature, I never had a coach or a trainer to actually help me, you know, learn how to rehab myself, you know, rehabilitate. So as time goes on, I start to realize, you know what, let's pursue personal training. You know, that way I can actually do corrective exercises to improve, you know, the strength and the stability for athletes like myself or like yourself, or, you know, just in general for all populations.
Talk to me, like, you got my attention right away, bro. I want you to talk to me about injuries. Dive into it, because honestly speaking, I got into motivational speaking because of injuries. I couldn't train the way I used to, so I was depressed. So I had to do something else. So, like, talk to us about injuries, man. Like, you know, you're a former athlete, basketball player, now fitness professional. Like, what have you experienced in your life as a basketball player, right, compared to a fitness professional that you've seen in injuries that could cultivate and change the game for, you know, upcoming athletes for generations to come?
So as an athlete, when you go on the court, or let's say talk about basketball, when you're on the court, you don't have fear when you don't have any injuries. So you're playing with your heart on the floor and you giving all that you have. But once you get injured, what happens is your pride goes to the side. You not only that your pride goes to the side, you start to become more fearful. Now, you don't want to do certain movements or like lateral movements because you might think, okay, I might get an ACL tear, MCL tear, or what have you, or you might pull a strain of muscle. So as I became a fitness professional, I started realizing that athletes, we tend to think that we're going to be the same athlete as before, but we're not. Same thing what happened with Kobe, rest in peace his soul, but Kobe knew that he was not going to be able to jump with the big boys anymore. He wasn't going to be able to dunk, go up for the layup. So what he started doing, he started putting up thousands of shots because his Achilles had torn. So I started to realize, like, as a coach, I know the game of basketball. So it's 4 quarters, right? And after the 4 quarters, it equals a result. So that's my philosophy about fitness. So as I apply athletes and as I look at other populations of the world as far as health and fitness, I learned how to strategize for each quarter. At the same time, I learned myself that, okay, I may not be good enough or strong enough to compete in the second quarter, but you know what? I'm going to strategize and try to find different alternatives in order for me to get to quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, then we can win the game. So that's how I started realizing, you know what? There's not a lot of coaches and there's not a lot of fitness professionals that actually play a sport or actually been in the field of the individual that they're training. So someone could want to lose weight, but what happened? I don't want to lose weight. So how can you relate to that person and have empathy and show them exactly how can they lose weight and you could be relatable at the same time? Same thing with athletes. I'm not a soccer player, but I'm a basketball player, but we do understand that there's different functionality that we need to do in order for us, you know, to continue with that dynamic.
Right. So let's talk about this, man, because I think this is something that I often don't speak about, but this is something that I've seen in the fitness industry in general, in our culture and our background. You know, we come from this background, whether you're West Indian, but we all come from the ethnicity of African American, right? We know where we come from. So we know that the food is the problem. So what can we do in the community to become better with, you know, our health and wellness to begin with the food, because we know nutrition's 80%, but at times some people are limited to, you know, the information, the resources, and just hearing the right people. But what can we do in the fitness industry as professionals as ourselves to be more of an asset to the community and shedding more light on that?
So first thing first, as you said nutrition is 80%, right? Now, I also believe that too, but here's another philosophy that I live by. So it's like I said, it's 5 quarters in the game, or 4 quarters. So each and every quarter, I add 25%.
Right.
So you want to have obviously a proper or customized exercise program catered to your goal. You want to have a diet regimen that's, you know, that's going to, you know, complement what you're trying to achieve as far as your exercises.
Right.
Now, if you're not consistent, which is another 25%, and you're not patient, there's no way you're going to get that 100%, right?
Mm.
So you got to make sure that you get through those 4 chapters or those 4 phrases in order for you, phases, in order for you to achieve that goal. Now, to go back as far as nutrition, you have to know what your body needs to consume. Because now everything you eat and whatever you eat and whatever I eat, it may not, you know, it varies.
Right.
And there's situations where as trainers, or just say athletic trainers, they would tell an athlete, okay, eat at a high protein intake, drop the carbs. But what happen if I'm an endurance athlete?
Mm.
I need to eat my carbs. I need to eat carbs. I need that energy source. Along with that, what carbs am I eating?
Right.
But as far as injuries, the first thing I always recommend is omega-6, because that helps with, and you know, it breaks down the anti-inflammation, and also loosen up the joints as well.
Mm.
Now, you could get that in fish, things of that nature. But what happens if you're allergic to fish? There's supplements. But you have to be able to go to let's say you got to go to your nearest health conscious store and speak with that wellness individual, or speak to individuals like us, that way we could guide you towards that direction. Just because what you see another athlete, another client do, and you see them dropping weight, you see they're becoming a lot stronger than you, that doesn't mean their regimen is going to work for you.
Mm.
You have to know your character. You got to know exactly what you need for your body.
So I think, you know, like it breaks it down, man. Yeah, spot on, Just. You know, the biomechanics of the body. Everyone's BMI is different. Everybody's body's
Right.
gonna respond different, right? I was at a point, honestly, I could tell you, and you brought up omega-6 was what was a really good point. When I was actually prepping, you know, for bodybuilding, I was eating volumes of red meat, where I was eating chili way more than I needed to. I was legit eating red meat every day. Aesthetic wise, like I was as big as I could possibly get, I felt like, for someone who's like a natural athlete. But the excessive amount of red meat and the inflammation that spiked up in my left shoulder, and just, you know, the mental, I can honestly tell you this, Just the mental of just where I was, it just felt that like I was a robot, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to meal prep this and, you know, meal prep that. But I was just not doing the research myself. And in result, my body was paying for it, but my mind started to pay for it too, because as much as protein I was consuming, as far as red meat, there was not that much greens with it, right? So I was lacking stuff with supplements. We need supplements to fill in the blanks as far as just like reading our daily nutrients. I wasn't even, you know, being consistent with that. So what I've realized altogether was this: it's okay to be wrong as a fitness professional. And I realized, I'm like, okay, I've been doing this the wrong way, and I could tell mentally. So ever since I stopped, like to be honest, with the food, and just stop with the supplementation completely, and really decide, what does my body really need? Because you don't need creatine. Your body produces creatine.
It's already created. Yep.
Yeah.
It creates
So
it itself.
I had to realize like that. It's like you training yourself, kind of, right?
Absolutely.
You know, we have all this information, Just, but for me, it was hard for me to kind of accept that I was kind of wrong too, right? So I had to check my ego and say, you know what? Enough's enough. I could become better. So I kind of want to put that out there. So Just, I want to ask you this, man. As far as just, you know, fitness professionals, the fitness industry, we're seeing COVID-19. A lot of people have been indoors these past few months. Some people don't know what happened. They don't know how it happened. Some people have let themselves go physically. We're seeing a big transition in the fitness industry right now, Just. We're seeing something big happening because what we're realizing is major corporations are realizing that they need personal trainers more than the personal trainers need the fitness industry as far as corporations go.
Right.
So now, since that everyone is home, what we're seeing is a lot of fitness professionals emerge. So what does this mean for the industry right now? Like, what are you experiencing with your clients? Are you getting clients from all over? Are they bringing new people? Like, what's going on your end in the fitness industry that you want to, shed light to tell the other fitness professionals?
So as far as my experience with the COVID-19, and again, for anyone that's going through that situation that has suffered from it, we wish you all the best. But at the same time, let's just talk about this. It's been tough. I'll be completely honest with you, because clients, they become spoiled, because now I'm used to being at the gym. I'm used to having all these equipments, and I don't have that same intensity or that same person yelling in my ear to get the job done.
Yep.
But I tell my clients all the time, like, listen, am I not the same person that you see in the camera? I'm the same person. Nothing changed about me.
Yeah.
Nothing changed. My physique didn't change. The way I talk to you hasn't changed. What's going to change is how we're going to move during our program. We're going to move a lot faster, less breaks, and little to no weights, because not every individual, not every client has the weights that we have.
Right.
I barely have weights, and what I normally do is focus on calisthenics, and my main focus lately has been mobility and stability work.
Right.
I could squat 365 pounds. I was on the verge to go to 400 pounds. That's fine. But am I able to keep myself at a 90-degree angle and not have that pelvic tilt, or better yet, that wink when I'm going to that squat? I want to be able to maintain that squat position. Now I'm doing wall sits. I'm doing child poses. I'm doing so many stretches that's going to allow me to loosen up the hips at the same time. At the same time, allow me to be a lot stronger than I was before. So as far as the clients and all the fitness professionals out there, you have to bring another aspect of fitness to your clients. Don't just have your clients just used to, okay, obviously that we're gonna do strength training. Okay, there's so many formalities as far as strength training. We got strength endurance, right? We got stability and strength. We got hypertrophy, but that's putting on size. We got maximum strength. So if we do not have those weights to actually build the mass, if we don't have that weight to actually focus on how strong we are, we got to focus on strength endurance. Whereas we're going to do a lot more reps in each and every set that we do. That way we could build the fatigue. We could build lactic acid within the muscle itself. That way we don't have to fatigue so quickly. We have to be able to have that longevity in our exercise. So when I tell other fitness professionals, I don't want you to just sweat. Don't have your clients just sweat. What is the purpose of that client being trained versus me training your client? Because if this is, everything's going on virtually, how are we separating ourselves? How are we bringing the same intensity and that same product that our clients, day in and day out, ask for us? They pay for the service. Why are we continuing to do the same things that we do in the gym versus what we do at home? It has to be a complete difference. It has to be.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. It's catered. When I was training, man, like I catered everything based on their lifestyle. So if you're at the desk 5 days a week for 40 plus hours, I know your hip flexors are tight. I know your glutes are tight. Your hamstrings are tight. So that's what I'm going to focus on. Oh, why are we spending 20 minutes on a mobility and stretching? Well, if I put you through this course, you're going to pull something, then we're going to prolong your results another 6 to maybe months to a year. Because and
then you're going to blame us.
Then you're going to blame us, and that makes me a liability. But it kind of made me realize that this is not about me. This is about them. And in the fitness industry in itself, man, like I've had the experience, again, working with, major corporations. And I lost the love for fitness because I felt that the second the client couldn't financially afford it, that like the relationship was like legit gone. But none of that is tied to me. Of course, it's tied to the corporation. So as a personal trainer who's worked for Equinox on Wall Street, Lifetime in Westchester, The Edge in Danbury, Connecticut, Blink on 34th Street, Crunch Fitness in Poughkeepsie, Orange Street. For someone who's worked for all these corporations, I've seen the same thing. And what I've noticed is this. The second you get a client, and you meet them at one spot, they get accustomed to it. Like you said, they get spoiled, right? So once they see that, okay, you're gonna go independent, a lot of things come into factor. But one thing I've realized in corporate versus going independent, people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. Like, they really don't, bro. They really don't. Like, you could have all the certifications in the world. I've been around the most knowledgeable trainers, the smartest trainers in the world, bro, and they were struggling to make money. Invested thousands into the education, but they don't know how to build relationships and how create a community, a support system. They know everything. They know the protein, what's this. They know everything to a T, but they don't know the basics and how to have a conversation, how to build that relationship. So what I've noticed in the fitness industry completely, the ones that are really good go independent. They go independent.
So check this out. What happened to water? What happened to the horse doesn't want water? I don't care. It may be thirsty. It may be quenched for thirst.
Right.
But what happened? It does not want water. So that's why we got to be able to, again, relate with those clients, relate with those athletes. And once we're able to talk with that athlete, it's time to speak with the parent and see if the parent and their child are connected. Because sometimes they in their own world.
Absolutely.
They in their own world. So we got to put them together and say, listen, mom, dad, Joseph right here really want to go to the NBA. There's some things that we need to do in order for him to get there. We need your support as well as my support, our support, to actually get him there.
Right.
Day in and day out, make him run. Day in and day out, follow his nutrition. Make sure his grades is up to par. Academically, that needs to be done because, and be honest, based on our culture, based on our hue, it does not matter how, talented we are as far as physicality.
That's so true. That's so true.
If we having an interview, how can you hold a conversation? How are you able to be the interviewer when you're supposed to be the person? You're supposed to be the applicant.
Right.
I know with most jobs that I ever had, I always ask a lot of questions. I always ask most of the questions to the point that I seem like I'm hiring a person.
Right.
Now they like, okay, do you want to be a part? Do you want the manager position? I didn't apply for it, but you know what? I take it now just because I've made sure that you have no choice but to give me that title.
Right.
Now this goes back to trying to be an NBA player. If the parents is not there, and the student or the athlete they're not talking with each other. There's no communication.
They're not there. There's like you said, there's miscommunication missing right there in the middle. And the problem with that is that's on the parents. That's not on the kids, because if your kids can't talk to you, you made your child that way. Like, your child's not talking to you because you're not approachable. So you have to.
Right.
I'm a parent. I know what it's like to be approachable. So I have to make myself approachable to my daughter. I have to make myself available. As busy as I am, like none of this shit matters, bro. Being a parent is first. So if I know she's telling me, hey, dad, I want to go to the WNBA, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen to that, right? I'm gonna be attentive to that. So it's the same thing, like, guys, like, if you're a parent and your child comes to you with a goal and dream of going to the NBA, WNBA, NFL, MLB, whatever the case may be, you can't put a price on that.
No.
There's no, number one, there's no price on a dream. There's no price on a dream. You can never put a price on a dream. Never.
And you have to want it. You have to want it.
But not only do you have to want it, but you have to hear people in your ear tell you that it's possible. And if they don't hear that and they don't see
Repeat that again, Hav. Repeat that again.
They need to hear it. They need to hear that it's possible. They need to see that it's possible. So, again, they say seeing is believing, but they're going to see. Me and Justin's going to make you run these sprints up the hill. I'm willing to do this, bro. I'm willing to give teams like our free time for an hour or 2 hours. We'll put you through hell and back, do a motivational boot camp. Like, we'll put you through hell and back. But best believe we'll have your parents sit and watch, and we'll give you value. We could give you a boot camp. We could give you a webinar. We could give you a speech. We could give you all this in one day.
Absolutely.
And if you believe in your child, then you'll invest in your child. But if you don't, then it is what it is. Then your child's gonna resent you for the rest of your life because you're insecure and you're envious of your child low key, and you don't want your child to pass you. That's what a lot of parents do too. I ain't gonna lie, man. A lot of parents do that, bro. Like
100%.
That's what it really is. Oh, I don't want my child going. I want my child. You can't force your kid to do, like, they're gonna do whatever they want. So if they don't want to, then they won't come forward.
What happened? Like I just said, the horse does not want water all the time.
Facts.
The
That's
horse
it.
does not want water. No, I don't want water. I want milk.
Bro,
if you keep bringing me water and you think I'm gonna force that, I don't want to force it.
Bro,
I want milk.
I could tell you right now, there's some dreams that you can't do alone. I've had this idea in my head to like really just, again, like really give back on like, cause that's kind of where I'm at now. You know, like I have more to give, and I feel the stuff that I have to give, I kind of like need to put that into, you know, the next generations that coming up. But I can't do this alone, right? I don't have a sports background whatsoever. So how am I going to tell a basketball player what his work ethic should be like behind, you know, doing basketball drills, right? I've only been on the coaching side as far as a trainer, but you're someone who's ran those drills, who took 3-point shots, went for layups and all that, blocks, steals, whatever the case may be. You did that. You walked that walk. So they're going to see something with you in you, right? You had dreams to go to NBA. You got injured. Now what? How do you respond to that? So I want you to I want you to tell them, and I want you to show them how you respond to that. So just like, I think we're on the verge of doing something special that cements something, right? And I think that's what it's all about with health and fitness, man. I've learned from this entire COVID-19, community is the biggest thing. You got to have community. Because guys, for you guys that don't know, like me and Just talk a lot. So this don't even feel like an interview no more. It just feel like a full-on conversation.
Yeah, it's just a conversation.
Yeah, but
it's always just a conversation, right?
For real. Like the community that we build, man. Like I've been slowly building with Just week by week, and we just be having these conversations. And the more we lay a brick, the more, and eventually looking up at a wall, man. But it's incredible.
Talk about it.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. It's incredible to see the power of networking and building relationships, because, you know, if you have someone else on your team that can take that pressure off of you to do something great, if you want to do something big, you can't do it alone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and you have to be realistic.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that most people don't know, or probably won't want to confess up to. If you're looking for someone like that's your best friend, your brother, just because you believe in a dream does not make them. Pardon me. Just because you believe in a dream does not mean they have to believe in it too. They don't have to believe it.
Damn, I need to hear that.
Because that's not their responsibility. All they're supposed to do is support you, you know, mentally, for the most part. But they don't have to believe in anything that you do, because they have a life of their own. At the same time, who are you to tell them, okay, I need you to believe in me. I need you to, you know, continue to pray for me. Yes, you can say that all you want, but it's not mandatory. Right. So you have to, and this is something that I came across, you know, with family, friends, and things of that nature, that not everyone is going to support you the way that you want them to support you. And that way in that manner, you have to continue to grind. And as you grind, it just like you reached out to me and we continue to talk to each other, we start to build that relationship, because you see the same thing I see. You see, you have a dream, but you know that with that dream, you need a partner. You need a teammate. You need to build together in order for that, you know, both our dreams to, you know, to appear. But if you're not grinding, and regardless of, okay, he or she's not supporting me, that should not, you know, take away from your grind. You should always stay consistent. Be patient. Remember what I said about the 4 quarters, and I said I believe in, you know, that's my philosophy about training. So my business is called fitness, and it's a fitness with a 5. So again, remember I said consistency, patient, exercising, diet, and that makes a result. It's the same thing about coaching. How can you be able to have these contents or have these stanzas that allow us to get to that level? You have to know, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I have to be patient. I have to stay consistent. At the same time, I have to exercise appropriately, have the proper diet, and that way I could get to my result. It goes with anything else in life. Just because someone is not consistent with, you know, believing in your dream does not mean it's not someone else does not believe in you either. You have to continue to grind. Someone is always watching. Someone is always watching. I tell my clients that all the time. I don't care if you're an athlete, and I call all my clients athletes, but a hairstylist. You may post day in and day out. You may get 36 views, 20 likes. But if you're getting bookings for 20 people each week, who cares about the 36 views? Who cares about the 27 likes? What happens is we become extrinsically motivated rather than intrinsically motivated. So extrinsically, okay, we see the value, we see the reward. Okay, oh, I look good now. I'm dropping body fat. Oh, I'm putting on muscle. Great. Now, internally, intrinsically, are you learning? You have to be able to. You have to accept learning is a part of being motivated. With me, if I see my clients applying the same, I'm giving them knowledge. I'm telling them what they need to do in order for them to achieve their goal. And they're listening and they follow it to the T, the science behind it, everything. And they achieve that goal. I'm happy. Like, I'm motivated by that because there was someone right there listening to everything I had said to them and they applied it to what they do every day. So there's different type of people. You got people that's intrinsically motivated and intrinsically. As far as me, I'm intrinsically motivated, and it doesn't matter who is supporting or not. What matters is me staying consistent and me applying what I have learned into everything that I do and implementing that with my clients. Or anyone else that I may know. We can't withhold information, but not all information need to be given out if the person do not want to use it. You can give it to them. You could give it to them. But if they do not want to use it, why should you continue to broadcast it? What's the point? It's just going to go from one area throughout the other, and it's going to feel like you're wasting time, but you're not wasting time. You're not. But what we need to do is realize, like, you know what? It's not time for them to listen. But it goes back to the horse in the water. The horse do not want to listen right now. It's all right.
Wow.
But a couple of years later, they're going to be like, you know what? It's time for me to listen.
That was a gem. Because I'll be honest with you, bro. Like, the first thing I thought about was the StclairSpeaksShow special that I did yesterday. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I got no problem, having these conversations and putting all this information out there. But best believe, if I'm having $1 million conversations, with like-minded individuals who's telling me how to scale a multi-million-dollar business, and I only have 2 viewers, well, I guess I only got 2 viewers. I'm gonna keep this thing going because at the end of the day, I'm gonna get all these gems, like and I'm gonna reinvest from here. But like, those who walk with the wise become wise. Those who run from wisdom will be running from wisdom for the rest of their lives, bro, till they run into themselves and they're gonna realize that they're the reason why they're not prospering. So for me, with my website, profile, Instagram, what have you, I look at that as a portfolio. So like you said, it's all about the right person, seeing your profile and stumbling upon your page, man. I'm just building that portfolio. Oh, this guy does this. Oh, he does that. Oh, he really networks. Oh, he knows a lot of Black-owned businesses. Oh, well. Yeah, man. So I realized, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna let none of the numbers phase me no more, man. Because honestly, bro, like, I could share this with you. I was at a point, I would say maybe 2 years ago, definitely 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I was at a point where views and likes mattered so much to me, bro, that I stopped putting out content completely, and it messed me up completely. Completely, right? Because I was just overthinking too much, right? But that comes down to mindset. And this is what I talk about, guys, in StclairSales Consulting. I talk about mindset and activating around the right mindset, because if you don't have the right mindset, that's what happens. You waste
execution.
months. Right.
No execution. Wow. That, and we fall short, and we all, like I say, we all fall short, victim to that, because we see, the fitness gurus out there, they got 110K followers, they have 100,000 likes. Cool. This is something that I always tell a lot of my friends, my lady, people in general, right? That I really care, and this is something for you too. How can you change the mindset of that? So what if there's 110 people following you? Do you have 110K? Like, do you have $110,000 in your bank account? Do you? Right? So I don't care if I have 1,000 likes. I don't care if I have 500 likes. Do I have $500 in my bank account? Do I have $1,000 in my bank account? If not, it does not matter.
Facts. It don't matter.
It does not matter. Again, if you want to be extrinsically motivated by numbers, then cool.
Count the invoices.
Count the invoices. as much people that contact you, the emails, things of that nature. How many times has somebody booked you? Better yet, how many conversations you had with individuals, like-minded individuals that made both of you, grow?
Right.
No, but it doesn't matter. Okay, this person likes my page or she likes my page, but dang, this person got 110 followers, 110K followers. This person has over 100,000 likes. So what?
Right.
Because deep down, and not saying all individuals, but they may be home struggling.
Facts.
Struggling. They looking at on their phone. Okay, this is not a picture. I don't want to post this picture. I posted this picture yesterday. Damn, I'm gonna post this picture. Just because they want to find a certain, they want that content and they want certain people to give them attention. So we have to ask people, and this is what I'm gonna start asking my clients. I'm gonna use it as an assessment. Maybe you could use it too, bro. Are you extrinsically motivated or are you intrinsically motivated? And that will allow you to see what kind of person or see what kind of client you're dealing with. Because if you tell a client, oh, you look great, and they like what you said, even though, we take those compliments, but you're like, you're looking great, you're doing a great job. If they're intrinsically motivated, they would say, yes, but, I'm still not unable to squat a certain way. That means they want to learn to improve their mobility, right? Now, versus someone, okay, yeah, I'm a squat, but I look good. I don't really need to worry about the squats that much. I'm getting a lot of comments. I look good.
Right.
That person is extrinsically motivated. We have to know who we catering to. What kind of clients do we want to, train? What kind of clients do we want to have a consultant with? We have to know. What is it? We have to know who we're going against. Who is our competitor? And that doesn't mean us, going against each other as players or just fitness professionals. But if there's a client that we want to train, we have to know that, okay, I want to cater and I want to go towards this particular population. I want to train with these type of kind of people because this is what's going to allow me to give out more information rather than a person that just want to look good. That's great and all, but are they willing to learn as they continue to, change their physique?
Powerful stuff today, man. Just absolutely powerful stuff. With just health and fitness in general, I think a lot of people really underestimate the value of health. All around wellness, the physical, the mental, just the overall. You can't be imbalanced. People think because aesthetically wise, you look great, but internally your body could be telling you, bro, if you have one more piece of this, and that's it, right? So you got to listen to your body. My older brother always told me, because he used to do boxing. He always used to tell me, yo, Yahavy, listen to your body. As a kid, like young, listen to your body. So I always listen to my body. So as me and you really recently started connecting and building, I really started to cultivate and like really dive in and listen to my body. And I'm doing jump ropes now. And I'm like, okay, I got something going on with the shin splints. All right, so let me go adjust that. So again, I'm listening to my body because I'm more aware. And I think another thing that people could do is get in a community like this. Follow Just. Reach out to Coach Just. Just, how can people reach you?
So Instagram, coach.just, the same way you spell coach.jus. You could look follow my website as well. It's iamcoachjust.net, where you can message me, contact me with any health and fitness inquiries. They got your packages there. It has the testimony that now I know the people that want to see the before and after pictures, definitely you can go check that out as well. But any questions or concerns, those are the two contacts that you can actually find me on.
Perfect. All right, guys. Like I always say, it's that time. 168 hours in a week. And you don't got time to exercise and train after hearing this? I don't know what else to tell you. If you don't want the dream body, then I know someone who does. And I guess it ain't. Sir. But don't complain about the work you didn't put in because you don't got the results because you didn't put in the effort. And the rest is on you. I'm signing out.
High school.
Let's go, Just.
I was the let's say, I don't want to say I was the best basketball player on the team at the time.
Nah, say what you said. If they see this, let them argue with you later. Say what you got to say.
I was definitely the top three off the bench. And I was scoring the most points coming off the bench, averaging about 13, 14 points a game.
And
You
tell
know,
them and tell them pull up your facts on johnbound.org.
Oh yeah, they could do that. Whatever they want to do, PSAL, whatever you want to do, you can check that out.
Yep.
But you know, not to toot my own horn, but nonetheless.
What's going on, guys? It's Yahavy, St. Clair Speaks. You are now tuned in to the St. Clair Speaks Show. We're back after our commercial break. Welcome, guys, to the St. Clair Speaks Show. We are on the hour today. It is 2 p.m. And I am sitting with a very special guest. Some may know this guy as my mentor and friend, but others know him as Mack Burnett, the Great, the Third. Mack, thank you for joining this St. Clair Speaks Show special event.
Let me jump in. Let me say, since we met, I think you've been doing an amazing job. You've been doubling down. You've been executing. You've been doing the work. Your level of activity is really, really high. Your level of engagement is really, really high. People are digging what you're doing. You've made new relationships. You've put together the speaking tour. You are taking actions, but you also need to kind of not be so hard on yourself. And I know I'm coaching you live, but I mean,
My mommy
but
always
really,
say
you
that
need to
too.
be
Why
nice.
you tell me that?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, because we're our worst critics, and you need to respect the process. You're right where you're supposed to be. You're right. Like I have coach. I don't believe you should hire a coach unless they have a coach. I have several different coaches, right? And my coach has been mentoring me because he's doing 7, 8 figures. And he's like, Matt, it's cool. You're right where you're supposed to be. Don't worry about it. What are the next 3 steps that you're going to take to move it forward to get to where you need to be? What is the next thing that you're going to do and the next thing you're going to do after that? And I'm respecting the process. Life is about evolving and evolution. It's a journey, right? Like what he's talking about, guys, is my growth and success roadmap. And I'll show you guys how to get all of that. If you guys hang in with us, I'll tell you how to get that. It's a whole training. It's free. It's absolutely free. But the whole thing about it is I designed it as a roadmap because that's life, right? You don't want the same thing at 16 that you want at 25 that you want at 40. You evolve, and our business and who we are as people and entrepreneurs is no different.
Straight up, like legit straight up. I honestly, I look at, your whole backstory as far as this business, and there was a time when we met for lunch. I think this was like the first time we sat down, we had lunch. By the way, it was a really good Philly cheesesteak. If y'all was wondering, I had that glass of red wine with them fries. The carbs don't count. But we
I'm not eating today.
we talked on so much different things. But one of the things that you kind of introduced me to, and I kind of want to jump in it from here, you were around, you experienced, 9/11 and what happened with businesses, the recession of 2008, now COVID-19. Matt, can you talk about the similarities between the three? Can you talk about the difference between, what happened back in 9/11, 2008 compared to where we're at now as far as 2020, COVID-19?
So I'm speaking from a business perspective, right? Because there's various different variables in that. Every time there's been a crisis, this either makes or breaks people, right? What I find is it breaks people when they weren't growing, evolving, and they weren't preparing and growing as entrepreneurs in general. I will say after every single time that I went through a crisis, 9/11, 2008, and this, I have propelled myself from a business perspective, right? This is a huge opportunity for everyone to get their act together and be able to move online. After 9/11, it was the same thing. I started a business after 9/11 because I couldn't find a job. So I started I started the first version of Powerful Impact, and I had 7 employees. I was in Black Enterprise, Wall Street Journal, all these places because I couldn't find a job. So it created a new opportunity, and as the economy came back, I was set up for it. 2008 comes. 2008 crash comes. I was not properly leveraged, but and I had to lay all my people off. But that started me outsourcing, going virtual. So I've been virtual for 12 years. So now when this came, I was prepared for it, right? I was like, all right, cool. Because you've been to my office. I just took the equipment out of my office, came home, and went back to work because I was already virtual. I have 15 employees in 8 countries. 14 of them I've never met in person. So all I did was like, all right, guys, business as usual, but Let's restructure some things. Let's change our pricing. So for me, it was just a pivot. It didn't shut me all the way down. This was another day for me. So I think the biggest things are you prepared for whatever comes up by making your business as bulletproof as you can? Can you make your business as bulletproof as you can by preparing yourself and looking at how business should be structured? Do you need 30,000 square feet of office space? Do people have to come into the office? What's another way to do what you're doing? And how can you make money doing it? And how can you serve your customer, right? So those are the things that I've seen. Those are the opportunities. And either people are gonna dive in or they're gonna let this destroy them.
Powerful, man. Powerful. You know what? It's spot on, man, because what can you tell someone who's only just clocked in? That's all they know, right? And now you're telling them, like, okay, work remotely, figure it out. But if you're not using these resources and these, free platforms that's out here, how can we build that brand and business, right? I've said this on the record, that skills actually create the jobs now. So by developing the skill, it creates the job. So if I'm launching the St. Clair Speaks Tour just based off my skills, what that does for my staff is it gives everyone a job opportunity at the St. Clair Speaks Tour event. So yeah, invest in your skills, invest in your time, and as we know, time is the greatest investor. But Mac, I want to ask you this: when do you know when your plan isn't working, right? When is enough enough? If you're working behind a business strategy for say 6, 7, 8 months, a year, you could, Gary Vee likes to say, oh, eat shit, right? But how long can you do that? When is enough enough?
If you're a real entrepreneur, it's never enough. It's
That's
never
right.
enough.
That's right.
I'm still evolving. I've been in some kind of business one or another since I was 12, right? I'm not 12 anymore. So, I've been doing this a long time, and the thing is how bad do you want it? Do you want it as bad as you can breathe? How bad do you want it? Now, with that said, we do have responsibility. So do what you got to do. I'm not telling you not to go to work. I'm not telling you not to go sell tickets. I'm not telling you not to go take personal training clients. I'm not, whatever it is, if you flipping burgers and you taking care of your responsibilities and you're doing what you need to do, if you driving Uber, God bless, do whatever it is that you need to do. But that doesn't mean that you can't find 3 hours after you get off work, after you put the kids to bed, or after you did whatever or worked your second job. Find 3 hours, turn off the Netflix, and take that 3 hours and reinvest it back into your business. Now, to your other point is how do you plan it out? Write down what you want. Write down what you want and reverse engineer how to get there. Don't take the opportunity just because it's in front of you. Write down what you want and exclude the other things. I find a lot of people, I've wasted a lot of time personally chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers that you're used to, right? So the bottom line is if you want to speak, don't go make movies. If you want to start a coaching practice or you want to open a gym, don't go work for an accountant. Go work for a gym. Get paid to learn. Right. I have clients that will hire me that I will take on for less money because they have something that I can learn from them, or I can get paid to learn. So earn to learn is what I always say, even if you make less money. I have a client who came to me and he said he's big in IT, makes a lot of money, really, really good at it, hates it. He's like, this is the most boring thing. He goes, Mac, because I used to be in IT, so he called me up. He says, Mac, I hate this IT thing. I've been doing it for 20 years. I want to get out. So I said, so what is it? He says, well, I got 6 or 7 years to retire. I got a great pension, but I want to do something else with my life. So I said, what do you want to do? He says, well, I want to make furniture. He wants to make furniture. I said, okay. So I was like, I know nothing about furniture, right? So I'm like, tell me about the furniture. He was like, I'm thinking IKEA or Pier 1. He's like, no, that's not what I do. And he showed me these pictures where he took these pieces of wood and made these beautiful custom-made tables, and he does it as a hobby. So I'm like, great, you got 6 or 7 years. Take this time right now and master the craft of what it is to build furniture. Become as great as you can. Make tables for people that cost. Give it away. Go volunteer at another furniture company. Learn the business side of it. You know, because he wants to get his pension. He doesn't want to quit, but he wants to start the business. I'm like, learn the business, learn the craft, get better at it. Try to make. I don't know how long it takes to make a table. Let's say it takes him 3 months to make one of these custom tables. Make a goal of trying to make 4 tables a year and sell 4 tables a year, right? And figure out who those people are. What do they want? Ask the customers. How much can you learn about the business so when you do go out on your own, you can be successful?
Right. Powerful. Yeah. So let's talk on this because we have this entrepreneurship spirit. Not everyone has that. How do we create that within ourselves, man? How can one do that if they all they know was just clock in? That's just like following through.
This ain't for everybody. Not everybody's built for this. Period. Now, I don't want to discourage anybody for doing it, and I will say this. Everyone needs to hear this. If you don't take anything else away from what I'm saying today, we are moving into an economy where you are going to have to kill what you eat. We are moving into a gig and a self-employed economy. Robots, artificial intelligence, machine learning. All of these things are going to put you out of work. In 30 years, we may or may not need a lawyer because the computer will write a contract for you. In 30 years, we may not have any employees at Amazon and the Ubers will drive themselves. Do you know that 1/3 of the male workforce is in some type of transportation, some type of driving job? 1/3. I think it's 20 or 30%. 30% of all jobs that men have are going to go away. They're just going to go away. What are all those people going to do? Right? Everybody can't be a programmer, right? That's an opportunity. Everybody can't be a personal shopper. You have to look at where you want to be in 5 years, how you can be of service, and how you can be of value. But that doesn't mean you need to be an entrepreneur, but where can you fit in? Because you driving a truck and making $110,000 or $150,000 a year, whatever you make, may not be there. So you got to get ready. You have to prepare. I don't care if you're 22. I don't care if you got a master's degree. Your job may not be there. So what are you doing to get ready? So even though I don't think everybody is inherently an entrepreneur, I think they can take on some of the traits of what it is to work for yourself.
I mean, again, we are learning, just looking around the world. We're looking at, these social platforms. There's Fiverr, there's Skillshare. There's so many different platforms where one can actually learn how to develop skills, along with hosting your own online, web events. But it's easier said than done, right? I have a website, but I'm not driving enough traffic as far as sales. So something's wrong. Anyone can set up a website, but can you be successful in bringing in the dollars? So it's all about holding yourself accountable and making these adjustments to your business. Whether you're an entrepreneur, business owner, employee, whatever the case may be, you have to make these adjustments. Mack, I'm gonna share this with you. I remember you telling me this early when we met. You had a client who is a millionaire and he was unhappy. Like unhappy. Can you touch on that?
Yeah. So we help people in 6 different areas in our roadmap, and it's on our website, powerfulimpact.com. And I'm sure everybody had to download that as a workbook so you can look at that for yourself. There's a class and a workbook on it. So I had a guy come to me and he was making, I'm not going to tell you his name or his industry, but he was making $1 million a month. And he was working 7 days a week, absolutely hated his life. And he came to me, he was like, Mack, I think I have a marketing problem or something wrong with my system. I'm making money, but he's making $1 million gross. He didn't take home $1 million. And he said, Mack, I'm miserable. I'm working 7 days a week. I don't get to see my wife. I don't get to see my kids. What can you do for me? And that really started a conversation. I said, well, can I look at your business? He was like, sure. So he showed me what he was making. He showed me how he was working. And it was an efficiency problem. It was how he was working. So we were able to restructure what he was doing, put some automation behind it, bring in some support, and identify the areas that where he was most effective and he made the most money. And that's where we focused on. And then we got him down to working 4 days a week. He was able to take Fridays off, go golfing, and on the weekends he was able to spend with his kids, right? Because it makes no sense to build a business that you don't love. That's insane to me. I don't understand that.
That is spot on, man. You know what? I noticed, earlier on, I had to really ask myself this. I'm like, okay, Yahavy, what do you love to do? What do you love to do? I was honestly looking, and I want to talk on, if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of talk on the business reinvention sheet. So I looked at the worksheet that you gave me, Mac, and I'm like, okay, what do I love? Right? What do I love, and what do people want? What will pay me? Right? And once I really dived in, what I loved 2 years ago, I don't love today. Right? If I loved fitness, I was head over heels in love with fitness years ago. I feel a complete different way about it now. Right? So it's not at the top of my list. So when you made me do that worksheet, it felt like a complete, not just a business reinvention. It felt like a lifestyle reinvention, I must say. Because I realized, I'm like, okay, now if I were to do that, what do I love? I love the StclairSpeaksShow Show. So that's going to be the first thing on my list. Right? So what I've noticed with, what you've given me as far as just the tools, it's constantly evolving day by day. So that's been the really cool thing with, just working with Mac and the business reinvention sheet was, again, you're changing every day. We're human beings. We evolve every day. Other than that, if you wanted to be a branch, you'll be a tree branch, but you're a human being. So we have the ability to, of course, create and grow. But looking at the reinvention sheet really made me kind of look at my life. And of course, being a dad now, I had to really look at some stuff. I'm like, oh, I love being a dad. I need this free time. I love working remotely. When I first met Matt, guys, I was a stay-at-home dad fresh, right? My daughter was only a couple months old. I was boiling, overwhelmed with the stress because on the weekends, I would head down to Times Square, New York City to sell comedy tickets just to make ends meet, right? Till the networking event came and changed my life and got me off the corner. But what I'm saying, guys, the power of building relationships is you never know the next person you'll run into. And they will come with a message or something that can help you excel. So again, don't run from wisdom. But when you look at your life and you write it down on paper, like the business reinvention sheet, the lifestyle reinvention sheet, again, you're looking at your life from a complete different lens, guys. What you love today, you might not love tomorrow. We're constantly growing, and growing is okay. Don't fight growth. Life has changed. Growth is optional. So once I seen it on the paper, Mac, I realized, I'm like, okay, I am not just a personal trainer anymore. I'm a consultant. I'm a speaker. You've helped me operate as a business and move as a business model versus just making speaking videos because I like speaking, right? I want to get paid to do what I love. So by looking at the worksheet again on paper has helped me. So when Mac is talking about, I'm sorry if I'm rambling, guys, forgive me. So if Mac is talking about the business reinvention sheet, just understand one thing. No matter what you write down, it will change in a couple days because every day is unpredictable.
Very true. Very true. You're talking so much about this business reinvention kit. I'm gonna have to finish that up and because we're redoing it. I'm updating it and I'll make that available and you can share it out.
I looked at it, I looked at it yesterday. I looked at it yesterday in my laptop and I'm like, okay, I remember the original day when I first filled it out, how I felt then versus how I feel now. I was a complete different person.
And it changed, right?
Mac,
it changed. It has changed.
Can you tell them how I was?
All right. Wait. No, but I also want to tell this. I saw greatness in you the first time I met you. I met you and you was like, my name is Yahavy St. Clair and I do this and I do that and I so and so and so. I was like, this guy's incredible. And then you were like, I was like, what do you do? Well, I do real estate and I do this and this and that. I was like, okay. And I was like, is that your bread and butter? And you was like, no. Actually, I've been selling comedy tickets. Hold on. Of all the things you said to me, this is what impressed me about you the most. You said, no, I've been selling comedy tickets and I made a full-time income selling comedy tickets in Times Square. Now, I know how hard that is. And this guy can sell water to a whale. I have to get this kid on my team. I don't mean to call you a kid. I have to get this young man on my team. I have to mentor this guy. I have to make him a client, something. But that really connected me to you because I was like, the level of difficulty of that. People don't understand the level of difficulty. So that's what it was. Now, I want to talk about the business reinvention kit just so people can understand what that is, because you keep talking about it. I just want to break down what that is. The business reinvention kit is something that I developed, that I discovered by accident when I was 17, and I've improved it over the years. Is how do you figure out what you're supposed to be doing with your career, with your life, or with your business? And it's a fairly simple process. And the process kind of works like this. Figure out, and there's a circle, there's a whole worksheet with it, but I'll give you guys a simplified version. Figure out what you would do for free. So ask yourself, let's say Friday, tomorrow you play the lottery, the big lottery, the Powerball, whatever it is. And you win $200 million, you have $100 million after taxes. You come home, you pay off all of your family's bills, you buy a couple of houses, all the cars you want, you go on vacation for 2 years, whatever, all the toys that you want to do. After that 2 years, when you come back, if you can fly, this is in normal times. After you come back, what would you get up and do for free every day? What would you get up and do if money was no object? If you didn't have to worry about money, what would you do? What do you love to do? And when people tell me they love to shop, I'm like, okay, but would you go shopping every day? You're going to get tired of shopping. Like, I know people who used to say, I want to be home all the time. And now that you have to be home all the time, everybody's going nuts, right? So no, you don't want to shop every day. You'll get tired of shopping. What do you love to do, right, is the first thing. Make a list of 10 things. What do you love to do? Second thing is make a list of what are the things that you're good at, because they may not be the same. And the third one is, what will people pay you for, right? Make a list of those, as many as you can. So you got 3 lists. What do you love to do? What are you good at? What do people tell you? You know what, Yahavy, you're really good at that thing. And the third thing is what people will pay you for. You take those 3 lists and then you put them in order from 1 to 10. And then you're going to take the top 2 or 3 from those lists and do some research and go out there and find out what you can do for that as a career. What can you do as a career? Taking those 3 things, and the intersection point of those 3 things is what you should be doing as a career, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes tons of sense. But I say this a lot, guys. What good is information if you don't apply it? So apply this information. If Mack is willing to give you guys, this business reinvention kit for free, or scheduling a call with Matt, again, guys, like this could help you out, and you could save 15 years of stress in business, 20 years of stress in business. I can honestly tell you this, and when I originally met Mac back in November, that's when I got into real estate. Do you know the lack of information and resources has crippled me in business and real estate? It crippled me at first. But fun fact, what a lot of people don't know is through Mack's, Facebook group, the Business Academy that he has on Facebook. If you guys aren't in that group, again, it's a free group to join. Man, Mack, I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm like a walking billboard, bro. I got you, man. Hold on. Look, y'all need to visit Facebook.com right now. Join the Business Academy group. They're a great like-minded individuals. Mack, you probably don't even know this, but I actually met my real estate lawyer from your group, Carl. I met him through your group. Yeah.
Oh,
and
Carl?
now,
Yeah, that's my guy, man. That's my guy.
Yeah, now we're doing stuff behind the scenes with like properties and stuff. And like, again, Mack has thrown me, Mack, you've thrown me so much alley-oops you don't even know about subconsciously, right? But when you set up like a group like that, and then people come in here and they connect, like, wait, you do this? Oh, actually, I was looking for someone who does that. But again, guys, like Business Reinvention Kit, the Facebook group, like, what? Like, come on, guys. Like, we're talking June 19th. We're talking, black businesses. Everyone's pro-black till we get to the checkout line, right? Come on now. But again, what I'm telling you guys today is this. despite like, you know, my other guests, like the thing that separates Mack from my other guests was Mack actually coached me. So I believe in I believe in everything this man is selling. If he's saying, yo, Hav, I got a $500 bottle of water right here, it's gonna be $500. I'm like, okay, shit, I'll rock with that. But that's it, because I already seen the result and how it changed my life. Now I don't have to worry about the stress factor as far as just reinventing my thought process in business. So Mack, I want to ask you this. You know, we're talking entrepreneurship, we're talking business today, we're talking June 19th. Don't use me. I don't want you to use me. Do you have any success stories when it comes to black businesses without using me?
I have a ton of them, man. I have a ton of them, but
it is the St. Clair Speak Show.
No. It is. No, I have a ton of them, but I want to say this because I think this is really important. You know, I appreciate what's going on right now on so many different levels. But I don't get me wrong, I've been getting hit up like from a lot of folks, black, white. I want to hire you because you're black, and it's great. I take it, right? I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm in business, right? I'm not gonna take it, but you know, I want somebody to hire me because I'm exceptional at what I do, not because I'm black. I don't want you. I mean, it's great that you understand. I want you to hire me because I've changed your life. I want you to hire me because I taught you something. I want you to hire me because I inspired you to change. I inspired you to jump off the cliff and make an investment. Every success that I've ever had my major successes have been on the other side of writing a big check. So when people come to me and they're like, Mack, you're a big check. I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm an investment. But what you've been doing hasn't been working the way that it works. And I have to tell you, I've written big checks. And I had somebody who this is a true story, right? I want to talk about success, but I want to talk about failure first. So I had somebody who was unhappy with my service. And I've experienced that because I one time bought a very 5-figure coaching package. And at the end of it, I was like, I don't know what I got. It took me 2 years to realize, and then developing my roadmap, that roadmap has now made me well into the 6 figures, that what I learned, I didn't even realize I was learning until I went back and spoke to that coach because, you know, we had some business to discuss, some other stuff to discuss. And as I'm talking to him, I'm realizing all the stuff that I was using, he planted the seed for me to develop my own thing like that. So, but so you don't always even know what you're getting, right? So, but I want people to hire me because I'm exceptional, not just because I'm black. I have a guy that I met who is also a friend of mine who came to me and he says, I want to hire you. And I said, no, I don't do your kind of business. It's not the right fit for me. I can, you know, I don't mind, you know, coaching, I don't mind coaching you a little bit and whatever else, but I didn't think he was a good fit. This guy waited for me outside every day for 3 months until, because we worked in the same building. So I would come out of my office and he'd be standing there waiting because we used to kick it. You know what I mean? It's black guy. He did that for 3 months, every week for 3 months until I agreed to have a drink with him to talk about his business. And at first I was like, this guy hitting on me? Why is he out here right? But it wasn't even that, right? It was just, he just really wanted to hire me. We took that guy from doing low 6 figures, and a business is very difficult to do that, to mid 6 figures because he forced me. He stayed on me because he was like, you're the guy, I need to work with you. So that's a success story. I've taught other people that have taken some of the stuff that we've used, packaged up what they've done. Black guys, 6, 7, 8 figures. There's other people that I very, very much respect that I have had nothing to do with, that I'm associated to. Mulaney B, interiors. She makes rugs and interiors. She's like a Black Martha Stewart. She's incredible. Go look up B. Smith. Go look up B. Smith, rest in peace, who just passed. She was a model who who built a restaurant chain, and she had her products in department stores, right? It, your color is not a barometer of success. It's what impacts it is your cultural, right? Your past, your culture, where you come from, right? You can't control your color. You can control how you show up in the world, how you help people, and the problems that you solve. And that to me is where success is created.
Yeah, that's what, guys. Again, that is where success is created. Success is created through failure. Without failing, I wouldn't be here, right? So we fail our way to success. So speaking on failure, Mac, can you share a pivotal point in your career? This could be earlier on in your career when you had that I want the most painful, but that moment where you said, you know what, I failed too much times. This is it. When was that moment for you?
Man, I've had so many of those moments. But I will tell you a story. I was running my company. I had an office. I had 7 people. I had a secretary. But I was doing the Hollywood thing, right? I was trying to get press. I was walking around in my suits. I thought I was a big deal. And every time you think you're a big deal, the world will teach you you're not. But I had lost a big account. We had a huge account, and I lost it. And I didn't realize how much that one big fish paid for everything. And I had to make payroll. I had to pay all these people, and we didn't have the money. We had these small clients, and we didn't have that next piece of money coming in. It was coming, it just hadn't gotten it yet. So I was like, all right, I got to go get a loan. I couldn't get a loan from the bank at the time. So I literally couldn't sleep for 3 days. Like literally, I couldn't. I got maybe 5 hours sleep in 3 days, and I was in cold sweats because I had to get to Friday and make this payment. So I called a buddy of mine. I was like, yo, I really need to talk. So I was like, can I take you out for a drink? So we go out for a drink. And I was like, listen, you're successful. I feel like a failure. I don't know what to do. I got to pay these people. Because I forgot how it worked. Like payroll would hit one day, and then it would hit my account 2 days later, but everybody would get paid. I forgot how it worked. So I had a little bit of time. And he said to me, he says, Mac, do you think I've always been successful? I said, seems like. He goes, nope. And he said, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And he says, and this will tell me if you're ready to be successful. I said, okay. I said, let's do it. He says, well, the first question I was going to ask you is, have you ever been able to not make a payroll? And I said, well, clearly. He says, good. He says, have you ever, what was the second question he asked me? Have you ever had your lights cut out? Your lights cut off? I said, yes. He says, good. And he says, have you ever screwed up a client so badly that you promised to never do it again? I said, absolutely. He says, great. You're ready to be successful. And what he was trying to show me was that the failures is what builds the character to become successful. You don't learn from winning. So what I tell people is it's cool to fail fast. Fail and keep moving. Failure shouldn't, I fail all the time. I had this big account I was just working on. We didn't get it. Well, at least I don't think we got it. We're still talking, but I think we screwed up the sales process. But I'm like, cool, it's Monday, because I failed so much that I'm like, all right, I know this is part of the process. But next time I encounter that type of client, I will be able to close that client, right? So I think failure is what makes the success. It's not succeed. You don't learn anything when you win. You learn when you fail.
Failure. Oh, what a teacher failure is. Touching on failure in particular, guys. I'm talking about failure. I'm talking about the times where I had to go back to Times Square and sell comedy tickets just to make ends meet. At that moment, I felt like a failure. I felt defeated because my mindset, I was accepting defeat. Failure is the willingness not to try, to accept defeat, to let doubt and fear kill the opportunity that you could have created if you would have just acted on it. I can tell you one thing. I'm not perfect. We messed up this show completely when we went on live, but I believe when it comes to, fumbling upon yourself, stumbling, failing, that makes us so much better. It gives us a lot more leverage. Why? Because if I fail, I can monetize it. If we fuck up, we can monetize it. We could use that as leverage. And experience is the best teacher of all. So if you're not failing, you're not working on hard enough problems. In some cases, you're not even trying. So by putting yourself in a position to be successful, by taking action and having strong faith, a lot can get achieved. And by me taking action, that one day, going to eventbrite.com, looking at my iPhone, figuring out that there's a free networking event, I put myself in position to be successful by connecting with Mack Burnett. Now, Mack, let's kind of talk on this now because we're seeing America open up. We're seeing COVID-19 numbers. It's like the freaking stock market at this point. So we don't know what's predictable. But one thing that we do know is predictable is our impact. Now, if there's anyone that's watching this right now, they don't have any experience with business. They never even sold a cupcake or a lemonade at a lemonade stand. What is something that you would tell someone right now who has no experience holding themselves accountable to being self-employed?
Well, first I would ask them again. I would ask them, what do they want? Right? What do they want what do they want? Who can they help? How can they help them? Very simple. What do they want? Who can they help? How can they help them? No one gets paid unless there's a problem or unless you create value for somebody. That's it. There's nothing, right? If you have a problem, you get it solved and you pay somebody to solve that problem. I sell money. I generate leads for clients. I package them up. I coach people. I then put them online. And then we have other clients that we just generate leads for on a pay for performance basis. That's it. So these are things that I've learned over time that people want, and we figured out how to do them, and then we got good at it. That's it. It wasn't like I woke up one day and I was like, oh, I know how to coach and I know how to be a growth marketer and I know how to generate leads. It was like, no, somebody said, Mack, I'll give you an example. I will literally tell you how I developed the business. We started as an agency, and then I saw that the agency model didn't work. So we became a managed marketing service because that's what the client wanted. People would come, this is all true story. People would come to me and say, Mack, I want to work with you, but I don't have these other pieces together. Or can you build me a funnel? Or can you build me a website? But the business was in shambles. And that's where the coaching came out of, because I needed to get them ready to move online. And then I have other clients who want to hire me, but they don't want to invest in the infrastructure and this and that. All they want is the result. They just wanted the leads. They're like, look, just send me 50 people. I'll work the leads and I'll pay you for the leads. Or partner with me. I'll sell the work and I'll give you a commission on the back end, which is a new product that we just released because people kept asking me for it. So I had to figure out how to do it. Entrepreneurs solve problems. So it doesn't matter if you make cupcakes. It doesn't matter if you fix cars. It doesn't matter. Whatever you do, speaking solves a problem for people. They need to motivate people. They need to inspire people. They need to cause impact and change. So who are the people that you want to do that for? Talk to them and get in front of them. I solve problems. I'm just leveraging the things that I love to do, which is marketing, consumer behavior, to do it. So what is your zone of genius? What's the problem you want to solve? Who has that problem? Go have a conversation with them, do 3 of them for free, and then put a credit card machine in front of it. It's not that deep, but people don't take the time to think about it like that, which is why you need a coach, which is why you need a mentor, which is why you can't Google all of that. So you can, but it'll take you 10 times as long to figure it out. And a coach is going to make you step out of your box and go get it done. I didn't wake up and say, I'm going to be a coach. These are the things that people asked me to do. So I've pivoted the business into the client's needs and figured out how to do these things over time.
I mean, Mack, I've modeled, my business blueprint through yours. When you had, a couple of VAs working for you, I've learned the value of VAs by seeing you do it. and like how you operate so fluently with your weekly meetings. Like you guys don't like Mac. I hope you don't mind, but the things that I've learned from working alongside with Mac is the little things that he subconsciously taught me. How to run a business consistently, like weekly meetings, keeping everyone up to date with what's going on with the business, who's in charge of what, blah blah blah. Also, everyone's not good at everything. I'm not good at everything. I've realized that working on the UMAC has it exposed so much, and you don't have to be good at everything. You don't have to be good at everything. This is why we have this person and this person, because they fill in the blanks. And I've also realized, because I've mentioned this to you a couple of times in conversation. I'm like, yo, Mac, man, like, yo, you gotta let me know, man. Let me handle that, man. I got you. Yeah, you putting too much on you. Let me take care of that. But I really understand now. I get it. I get it. I understand everything because I get it. Because if you want something the way you want it, you got to do it your way. Like, I could honestly share this. It's going to be real short. I'm not going to ramble. When it came to editing my book, I hired a really shitty editor. And I looked at the work, and I'm like, yo, what the? And I had to do it myself. I'm like, yo, if you want anything done, you got to do it yourself. If you want to make cold calls and emails, and you want it done the way you want it, you got to do it yourself. Don't hire someone, then complain because they can't do it. But that's the job as a leader. Right? When you win, it's on your terms. When you lose, it's on your terms. So, Mac, I kind of want to talk about this next. If leadership,
Yes.
What comes to mind?
Well, I'm going to say leadership is exactly you evolving as a leader is not doing what you just did. The reason I didn't give you certain things to do that you wanted to do is not because I didn't want you to do them. It's because I was not in a position to set you up to be successful to do it. You as the entrepreneur, your job is to a true entrepreneur. There's somebody who's self-employed who does everything. An entrepreneur builds a machine, a system that does that thing for people, and they manage it. They manage the system. They're not jumping in there and doing the work. But to do leadership to me is enabling and empowering other people to be successful, to be able to help you reach the goals and objectives that you're trying to reach. That and true leadership is aligning that with the goals and objectives that they want to reach. There's a really good book that I recommend called Good to Great. Good to Great. And one of the things that he says in that book, Michael Gerber? I think it's anyway. If you Google Good to Great, it'll come up. One of the things that he says in this book is what a lot of companies do is they try to figure out where they're going, and then they put everybody on the bus to go there. And what he says in the book is don't do that. Find the right people, and then together figure out where you should go together. And it's just a very small change about thinking where it is you're trying to go. So I literally had a conversation. I was in a networking group, which turned into me coaching the whole group, which was fine. I enjoyed it. I go to a lot of networking events, as you know. And the reason I want to clarify this. I am the internet guy, but the reason I go to networking events is it is a great workshop to test things, to test your pitch, to test ideas, to hear the problems of your customer. So I go there because those people are my customer, and I want to know they're my client. I want to know what their problems are, and I want to say, well, what do you think about this? How do you feel about that, right? And that happens in these networking events, whether they're virtual or not, right? So I go to this networking event, and they were like, well, I'm thinking about hiring a VA. I'm thinking about starting to outsource. When is a good time? And a couple of people said some things. And they were like, Mac, you have a ton of those people. How do you do it? When's a good time to hire? I said, well, if you start your business on day 1, day 2. And they looked at me and they're like, well, what are you talking about? And I said, this like, well, you can't afford it. And I said, you can't afford not to have it because you just can't do everything. You can't be good at everything. So what I tell people is this. If you can't afford a VA or you can't afford support, raise your prices. Raise your prices so that you're building in the cost of what it pays your people to do that. And I have a whole coaching. I have a whole worksheet on how to do this. It's in my coaching program. Um, but the idea is write down. If most people don't even write down what they do, how they do it. It's all in their head. Write down from step A, from the first time you meet somebody till the time they become a customer, to the time that you service them, till after you service them. Write it out. Just write it out. Just type it up. And then go back and say, who are the people that I need to get this done? Like you producing this show right now and you being on social media. There's certain activities that need to happen. You need to take pictures. You need to shoot video. You need to create the app. You need to create the Instagram post. There's a lot of moving pieces in there. And I see you working hard, brother. I want to give you your flowers too, right? So I'm watching you. Don't think I'm not watching you, right? So there's all these things that need to happen. But if you wrote down what needs to happen, and then let's say, again, money was no object, write down all the people that you need. What are all of the jobs to get this done, right? And then say, all right, great. If I had 100 people to help me, what would that look like? And then now when you start, you're going to be every job. But at some point, you're going to realize, okay, here's the 8 people that I need to make this thing run. And I'm all 8 people. But these 3 over here, this is where I make my money. Or these 3 over here, here's where I'm great at. Over here, I suck. So I need to find, so how much can I pay them that I can build into my pricing? And how can I hire this first person to help me do this thing? I have people that work for me right now that make $4 an hour, and they are very happy overseas. Wow. They make $4 an hour, okay? But over there for them, making $4 an hour, it's great. Now, most of that's research and pulling down copy and links and all these kinds of stuff, right? But they're very happy. I have people that make way more than that, but it's not, it fits into my pricing margin. It's no different when you go for no one I know who works a regular job. I don't care if they work at McDonald's or they're a high-level consultant at a major firm. I have never met anybody who goes, yeah, I get paid what I'm worth. Everybody thinks that they get paid less than what they're worth. But there's a reason for that, because there's price pressure. You want to get paid more money, and the company wants to pay you what makes sense for this type of role and this type of person, because I have to make a profit on you sitting in that seat. And you don't understand, I have to pay you. I have to pay payroll taxes. I got to pay for this office space, these lights. So the reason I can't pay you another 30 or 40% is because I gotta pay for your health insurance. I gotta pay for all of these other things, and they know what those numbers are. So day one, you start writing those numbers out and say, okay, I can pay somebody $8 an hour to do this job. Where can I find somebody find somebody for $8? Fiverr, Upwork, down the block, whatever it is, and then have that person do that particular thing and build it into your sale price.
Affiliate marketing, I've learned so much different things as far as just working with Mack, whether it's hack marketing strategies, affiliate marketing, but connecting and building relationships is the most resourceful, okay? When you establish relationships with people, that person adds value, you add value, and together, you have great value. So Mack, I want to ask you this. I know we talked on this. We talk on so much different things, Mack, and I know we're wrapping it up. We're towards the end. Mack, you showed me how to launch the St. Clair Speaks tour. I hope to see you headlining along with me on the St. Clair Speaks tour, because I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. I didn't want to throw this out there a little too early, but again, Mack showed me how to launch my own speaking tour, so it's only right to have powerful impact. St. Clair Speaks tour. Come on now. So, guys, look, this is what we're doing. Whether you're small business, we're going to split it down the middle. Mack know how to operate with small businesses. If you're a solo entrepreneur and you're looking to improve your sales, well, you got St. Clair Sales Consulting. But I've learned so much working with my mentor. This is 20 years experience that when this man talks, he don't know, but I'll be taking notes, you know what I mean? But again, guys, I would love to see you guys at the St. Clair Speaks Tour event. For those of you that don't know, Mack is also a part-time professor at NYU. So you know when this brother is speaking, school's in session, kids. But Mack is going to be headlining along with me on the St. Clair Speaks Tour. I just had to put this out there on live real quick so he don't got to text me, yo, bro, you know what I'm saying? But I want Mack to headline with me on this event because together we could help, and we could help so much more lives. What Mack has done, you know, for me, changed my life for the rest of my life and my daughter's life and generations to come. That's how much I believe in coaching. None of this happens without coaching. None of this. This show without coaching.
He thinks he's slick. He's doing this on live, so I can't say no. So that's what he's doing.
Exactly my point, guys.
I know exactly. You know, you see what he's doing.
But
So,
I'm also doing this because you taught me about building relationships. So now I have more of a high ticket event now, right? I got Powerful Impact. I got my guy Brandon Powell joining me too. So I got some influential Black brothers with me. So I got a high ticket event. You taught me well, mentor. You taught me well. But it don't hurt to ask. But guys, this is the point I'm trying to make. If you don't ask people for help, they can never help you. Like they can never help you if you don't go to the networking events, if you don't reach out, if you don't do outreach. Like, again, what Mack has taught me in months feels like years of knowledge, man. Like, it's only right. And when you gain that knowledge, that experience, how to run a business, you pass that on. That's how we continue to be blessed. You don't become blessed to keep it to yourself. You're blessed to bless others. So we have to gift life with what gifted us with. The ability to speak, to coach, to inspire, to consult.
Thank you for calling StclairSales and Yahavy St. Clair Consulting. How may I help you?
I'm a trainer and I'm not making any fucking money.
Really?
I work for corporate. I'm here 40 hours a week. They tell me, great job, Bob. I'm like, where's my job, Bob? Look at my check. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, you're telling me you work for corporate? Can you tell me what corporation you work for?
Doesn't matter. They all treat us the same. They keep us enslaved in the system with the numbers. What are my numbers? Am I a number? Ah!
Well, Bob, it sounds like you need StclairSales Consulting. Well, yeah, we could schedule a strategy call. Well, when are you available?
His success blueprint with Powerful Impact, right? We have mindset, we have structure, brand, marketing, sales delivery. We have all of these things. So collectively, I needed to ask myself, am I the reason why I'm not prospering? But again,
shoot for the stars, and if you hit the moon, it's okay. Listen, I just want to say one thing, man. I want to thank you for having me on today, man. And if anybody, I got a free training which will take you all the way into the success roadmap. And if you're on that email list, you will also get an email for the business reinvention kit that he's talking about, and I'll send that out too. I don't have any problems. But if you're interested, go over to powerfulimpact.com. The number 6 stages. And there's a free training there. You can sign up. Won't cost you anything. If it makes sense and you want to work with me after you watch the training, you can sign up and get a call directly with me. But please, even if not, go watch the training. Powerfulimpact.com / the number 6 stages. I promise you'll be better for it.
And please don't forget to visit Facebook.com and join the Business Academy group that Mack has on Facebook. Life-changing group. There are a lot of like-minded individuals. If you're now starting out, if you have experience, come get some inspiration, hear some inspiration, read some inspiration. Mack has all these free resources out here. Best believe you got to get involved. Okay? You're always one idea away.
Business Growth Academy Sandbox. Growth Academy Sandbox. I know it's long. I don't know why it's called it that.
Facebook.com, Business Growth Academy /Sandbox. Again, guys, join the group. I'm actually in the group too. So it doesn't matter. I don't care where I'm at. We still got to get coaching. So, guys, this is me signing out. We are coming back on live in a bit with my next guest. Mack, thank you for your time today. Again, guys, if you want to catch this episode of the St. Clair Speak Show special, we will be streaming all day today till 6 p.m. If you want to see this specific episode, we will have this episode available. If you want to, reach out to Mack, I'll also have the links attached as well. So again, this is the St. Clair Speak Show. Signing out. We'll be right back after these commercial messages. Opportunities come to those who create it. So if you're not hustling, you're not establishing or creating any type of business. You're not collecting emails, you're not building a business. And like mentorship goes a long way. So again, I extend my arms out to you. I want to say thank you. Like every wise man was once a fool. So when you ask questions, you learn. So I'm going to ask you a lot of questions today. Please, I might go off record with some of the questions that I asked you to fill out. But I want to know what got you into this business. Why consulting?
That's a great question, and I would say congratulations to you for achieving that first consulting client. That's one of thousands that I'm sure you'll be able to get. So enjoy that. For me, I realized a long time ago that as the oldest of five, I'm a listener. I grew up doing that. But there's what I call dormant skills. There's skills that are within you that you either haven't done or you haven't interpreted as those skills. And so that's what it was for me. I was doing a lot of those things instinctively. I just was doing them. I would listen as a young adolescent. Of course, you're doing that for the ladies. You're trying to listen and learn and be a Mac and all those things growing up in high school. But I realized this is a trait that translates very well into not only just being a productive man, but also in my relationship with my wife and my marriage, but also in business. And so I became more self-aware of it. Now, I can't say that I just grew up knowing how to be a consultant. That's not the case. When I came out of high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't really have much direction. It wasn't until I went into college that I began to get exposed to different leadership opportunities. And there it was again, I had to listen. I had to learn how to be a good team player. And then as the years went by, I realized one of my mentors actually told me, he said, I was describing what I was doing. And I said, I like to do this. I like to do that. He said, well, why don't you just do a consulting business and charge people for it? And the light bulb went off. And when that happened, it was like I was, metaphorically speaking, able to make a whole loaf of bread from just crumbs because I got it. It made so much sense. Yeah. And from there, you just get better at it, because when you pay attention to people, which that's also something that I learned, as you listen to people, people feel heard. That's different from just talking to people and selling them. I've noticed that people, when they feel heard and understood and respected, and you educate them, they're more likely to participate in whatever it is you're offering. And so I found that to be a huge benefit over the years.
That is huge. Can you touched on this a little bit. In fact, my new client, he touched on this yesterday as well. He said, I'm in a position where I'm a leader and I'm stressed. And we were talking on leadership. Can you touch on that? What does leadership mean to you?
Oh man, you got some good questions. So for me, leadership, as the great, you can't really talk about leadership without giving acknowledgement to John Maxwell. He's an expert at that. He talks about leadership being influence. And so from studying him, I realized that leadership being influence is so impactful. And for the everyday person, everyone has a leadership role because everyone has influence in some capacity. Now it's how you use it that will make the difference. So for me, I'm a leader in my home. I'm a leader in business. I'm a leader among my siblings. I'm a leader in different organizations, but not just by title, but by the actions that I put forth. And so for me, there's no way for me to say leadership without also talking about servitude. And so you find ways to always lift others up and add value to them. And there it is again, listening. Leaders have to be able to listen. So, and these are things that I learned over the years. If you're going to get better at leadership, you get better at listening, knowing how to understand where people are, and how to. I'll tell you this principle. I know we're not doing an official session, but I'll go ahead and give you what I call the good stuff. Um, One of the things that I talk about is my 90-10 rule. 90-10. This is a radical concept. 90% of the time I spend time, from a leadership standpoint, I spend majority of my time focusing on how I can uplift, encourage, and inspire. So that's very difficult, because if you're in leadership, you got a team you're managing, you got people you're overseeing, you're going to notice things that frustrate you, things that you believe in that they can do better at. But that 90% of the time, you figure out how you can change their behavior by focusing on what they're doing good. The other 10% is the times where you can't, you know, do it in an encouraging way. You have to admonish, not criticize, but you have to admonish. That's two different things. And so even when you do that, if they're so used to you encouraging them and finding ways to positively highlight what they're doing right, when you do that, they receive it a lot better, I found in my research. And so because they know that you're not really trying to put them down, you're coming from a place where they know that you actually care about them. And I think that's one of the challenges with leaders, is that we want to lord over that authority that we have, that we've either earned or we took advantage of and we got, however it came about. And leaders are not just leaders by title. It's also by the influence that you have.
Powerful. I hope y'all heard that, because that's powerful right there, man. I think with leadership comes down to accountability, right? So if you have a team, you know, I have a team that I'm working with here. It's my job to hold my team accountable, you know, to launch this event. I have to touch base with everyone, including you, including everyone behind the scenes. So for me, at first, I'll be honest with you, man, like stepping into this position, ready or not, here I come, right? There's no book on entrepreneurship. There's no license to be an entrepreneur. Can you also touch on that? Like, what you look for, you know, when you're looking for that, you know, new prospect? You know, how do you find your ideal training client? And who is your ideal training client? Is there an ideal training client for someone like you, Greg?
So that's a great question. So I'm going to unpack that a little bit slowly, because there's a few different layers to that. So not only is that something that I had to figure out, that's also a common challenge for most businesses, trying to figure out who should I be serving, how do I talk to them, who is my target audience. I will share with you how I solve it by what I also teach my clients. So for the first thing is, I came up with a principle called the top 10 industry pain points. If you are referring to your the market and you're trying to service them, everyone participates in a different industry. So in your case, we're talking about consulting, speaking. Well, guess what? We're not the only consultants and speakers, right? So what are they trying to do? Trying to look for clients, speaking engagements. Well, during that process, there's oversights and mistakes that are made. We call those gaps in the market. There are, if you study it, there are at least 10. And so what I did was I studied what those 10 gaps are. And then I went about serving my target audience, which is speaking event hosts, my clients who are small business owners. In my case, I figured out what is it that they actually need. This isn't a question about how I can be better than my competitors. That's not what I'm saying. This actually is about how I can become more accurate with where my target audience is hurting. So, for example, because I know a lot of times people want to outperform their competitors, which is a normal thing, but you don't necessarily have to focus on that. All you have to do is figure out where is your target audience hurting, and I'll actually touch on that in a moment. But corporations are pivoting. Some are profiting. Some corporations are profiting because, and this is actually a normal thing. Just walk us through this. Whenever there is a challenge in the marketplace, there's always a segment of the market that is devastated by the changes, and then there's some that become profitable. For example, whenever there's a lot of new construction going on and there's road work issues and potholes, all those cars that are hitting those potholes, their tires are messing up. We're frustrated by that. But guess who's benefiting? All the repair shops. I bought in the last 2 years almost 18 tires between my two cars. So right now, what's happening for these corporations, while we're devastating, we're trying to pivot and find new jobs and find new clientele. The people who sell toilet paper, the cleaning products, they are not complaining. So that's a normal phenomenon. Now it's much more dramatic right now because it's affecting globally. But there's always a seesaw of benefit and detriment in the marketplace. Now, for the everyday small business owner, as I was saying earlier, we are all trying to figure it out. If you had already been studying the digital world, digital meaning email, social media, webinars, anything that's not on the face-to-face operations, then you're actually probably doing a little bit better than most. But for those who haven't, they're starting from scratch because now they're forced to. So that question really is depending upon how much time have you already been dedicating to the digital world. And it's a harder learning curve, but as you get around that learning curve, you'll be able to figure it out. But it depends on how far in advance you had started. For me, 16 months ago, I started that road not even knowing that COVID would come. I started spending time on social media. I did not normally spend time on social media because most of my business came from word of mouth and referrals. I also spent time with chambers of commerce in the field. That's mostly how I spend my time. But I decided to get on social media, and I started on LinkedIn with about maybe 700 connections, and I started paying for training and research. 16 months later, now we're currently at 16,000, almost 16,000 connections. But COVID happened during that, and I was able to pivot a little bit better. It didn't make it perfect, but I was able to pivot a little bit better. So it just depends on where you started from. Appreciate that, and I want to say kudos to you for being tenacious and driven to make it happen. That is probably one of the key ingredients. And so, to your question, Lean on Him Consulting. Whenever I get up to do like 30-second elevator pitches and things like that, the way I sum it up is this: we try to solve a problem for the market. The problem we try to solve is we use branding strategies and marketing strategies and business strategies to help our clients increase their value to the market by 30% every 6 to 9 months. That's what we do. Everything else are the tools that we use to make that happen. So for example, we do graphic design, but that's not really what it's about. It's about using that tool to impact your value in the market. We help with business coaching. Those are tools, but that's how we utilize them to help affect. It's about producing the outcome as opposed to just, hey, let me design a flyer for you. Well, what if that flyer is not speaking to your target audience? Now we have a flyer that looks nice, but it's not effective. And so we try to make sure to coordinate both of those concepts.
That's huge. You know what? I'm glad you brought up that point because I'm going to tell you my dilemma right now. I just made a website a couple months ago, StclairSpeaksShow.com, and I'm looking at the amount of traffic that my website gets. Then I'm looking at the orders. Then I'm like, this makes no sense. I just don't get it. So it just really made me look at my model again. I'm like, okay, I'd ask myself, am I number one? Am I underselling or am I upselling? Am I addressing any pain points? And I had to ask myself this, Brandon, because I was a personal trainer for 7 years. So I had to really ask myself, who is my target audience? I'm doing consulting, right? I have a sales background. I've had this for years, since I was 14. I got a box of candy from DJs for $15. I flipped it and I got my ROI for 60. I sold each piece of candy for $2, right? There were 30 pieces in there. But that gave me the tools. And a couple of years later, I ended up on the street selling comedy tickets. Gave me the gift of gab, right? But I had to really learn. I'm like, what am I really solving here? I don't want to do personal training anymore. What I want to help fitness professionals be more successful. What I've noticed is this, Brandon. I could definitely touch on this real quick. With COVID-19, you've seen, of course, a lot of at-home workouts, right? Body weight exercises. What fitness corporations are noticing now is, oh yeah, you need the personal trainers more than the personal trainers need you. Because if we're looking at the fitness industry as a table, those personal trainers that are bringing in, say, 10K per month, 20K per month from their training clients, not to mention supplementation, these are all things because I have the experience with fitness. I know all this stuff. So I had to really, this entire epidemic has made me dig deep to get to this point. So that, again, to have you on this show means a lot because I'm struggling with, telling these other fitness professionals like, hey, you don't gotta work for corporate. You can make more money online doing this. But my approach sucked. And I'm not ashamed to say that, right? So I had to really be honest with myself. So what can I do not to lose confidence?
That's I think you're hitting on a very important point, and I want to say thank you for your transparency on that. That's a normal challenge to face. A lot of clients that I work with, they have that same experience. They're trying to figure out either the accuracy of who you're talking to and then the methodology and how you go about trying to communicate with them. So one of the things that I would say is when you do your research and you have the accurate information, it builds the confidence. For example, if I'm going to leave from Texas and I'm going to go to where you are in Europe North, right, in the New York area, I'm going to feel a lot more confident if my GPS and my navigation is indicating how to get there. But if I just took off and start driving and going based off memory, I'll be a little confident, but it's going to get blurry for me because I'm not really good with directions. That's the same thing in business. You feel a lot better when you have an accurate game plan of who you're trying to target, where you're trying to go, and how you're going to impact them and add value to them. And so that just comes with research. And for me as a consultant, I know what questions to ask you to figure out who your target audience is. I don't have to work in your industry to know that. I know how to figure that out. And so real quick, I'll explain. It's something called a $1,000 rule. It's a metaphor. It's not a literal $1,000. There's 3 criteria that need to be met in order for you to have your the $1,000 rule. So if you're trying to get to your target audience, imagine it as a dartboard. In the center, you want to hit the bullseye. But oftentimes, we don't know what the bullseye is. Who is that target audience? How do you get there? Well, there's 3 criteria that need to be met. One is financial capacity, perceived value, and compatible interest. Those are the 3 criteria. So financial capacity, let me be simple. Do they have the money to pay? Pretty simple. Perceived value, do they feel like what you charge is worth them paying for at that rate? That's perceived value. Number 3, compatible interest. That's saying, do what you offer, is it something that I actually need based on what my needs are? Those are the 3 criteria. If they meet those 3 areas, typically they can absorb your package, your program, whether it charge $1,000 or whatever it is. They can usually absorb that fee within 1 to 2 installments. So if not, you're throwing darts and they land outside of the center. That's okay. It happens. But you don't want to spend most of your time with darts that are landing way outside of there because you might make the same money, but it'll take a lot longer to accomplish. And a target audience is about efficiency. That's what it's about.
That's
if that makes sense.
That makes tons of sense, man. You didn't have to. You said a lot, but you didn't say much, and it did a lot for me. Now I'm digesting this mentally, and I'm like, okay, As soon as I'm out of this studio today, I'm going home. I'm revamping my entire website. Let's switch gears for a minute, since we're talking consulting. But I actually met you on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn guys. If you're not on LinkedIn, I don't know what to tell you, because how are you connecting with like-minded individuals? LinkedIn is the place to be. Brandon, do you have any success stories that you would love to share with the audience, just with using LinkedIn with business, or it doesn't have to be business, it could be business, personal, just any success stories that you have with LinkedIn in general?
Great question. And LinkedIn is definitely a great place to be. I'll admit I'm biased toward LinkedIn as opposed to the other platforms. It's very, very beneficial to me because, number one, my target audience is on LinkedIn. So I was sharing earlier, exactly.
That's it.
My journey on LinkedIn, I didn't really know much about social media 16 months ago, but it grew. It went from 700 to nearly 16,000 connections. But that's not what got my attention, because there's a lot of people that are on LinkedIn or social media. You can have a lot of followers or connections. It doesn't automatically mean you'll get business or high engagement. What got my attention is the last 4 or 5 months, 40% of my business and inquiries have come from LinkedIn. That's when it got my attention.
That's powerful.
Majority of my speaking engagements, interviews like this, and I have the privilege of meeting people like you, clients, strategic partnerships have come from LinkedIn. So yeah, I'm spending time on LinkedIn because I'm seeing the return on the investment of my time and resources as a result. And I haven't had to run any ads, by the way, to do that.
Yo, that is so huge. I'm so glad you said that, because you're actually the first person. Well, I won't say the first person, but you're actually the first brother from LinkedIn that I actually connected with, and like to come on this platform on a day like today, June 19th, right? And we're talking Black excellence, we're talking business. Again, the most influential people with me in business have been Black men, all Black men. My mentor has given me so much information. He's taken me under the wing when I was at a point where I was completely lost and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I know I was good at something, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And now, just looking around the world, again with the epidemics and, Black Lives Matter, the riots across the world, I'm seeing a lot more unity, frontline, even in business too. So to have you here today, it's special to me, but can you talk on, the lift, the elevation? Can we talk on Black culture? Can we talk on Black businesses? Because when it comes to Black businesses, I can honestly share this before I let you go, but I can honestly share this with me. I love the culture. You know what I mean? Like, I love the culture. Like, we're so innovative, right? I call myself a visionary speaker because I have a cartoon series that's about to come out. I have a children's song that's out called ABC that little kids are learning big words, and it's blowing up fast. We're at 4,000 views, and it's only been 2 weeks. I have, children's books coming out. I have all this other stuff, and it's the culture, and I love what I can pass down. I have a daughter now, which makes me a leader, and my little girl has changed my life, and she's really opened my eyes to imagination, and I have a lot more empathy. So when I originally created this platform, it was for, like-minded individuals like yourself, and that need just that extra platform just to get their business out there. This ain't about me. This is about celebrating Black excellence like yourself, Brandon, and all the other Black businesses, because I'll be honest with you, I was on my way here and there was a cop behind me and like my anxiety was spiking, but I was like, nah, the devil's a liar. So we back at it again. But can you please touch on, just any Black business partnerships, Black culture and business, or anything that you're seeing as far as just the epidemic and how we're responding to it?
Well, I would tell you, number one, I definitely understand the anxiety. On my way to my office this morning, I had the same anxiety spike for myself. I was driving. I had my headphones on. I was listening to a book. Wasn't doing anything. I'm not really involved with anything that's would make me feel nervous. But like you said, I still felt nervous for a quick second because of the color of my skin, and plus because of what's going on at these times. Now, in saying that, I am very thankful to tell you that we have about 75 strategic partners. We have an ecosystem of business owners. And I would say at least 75% of those are African American, male and female. So that's pre-COVID. That's before COVID. I'll tell you why that's important. That's helpful for my psyche as an African American man, because typically we look at each other sometimes and we don't really feel like we can get the best from each other. We worry about if people are going to try to get discounts from us, not have good business etiquette or good business practices. Well, that's not my world. I work with great professional people that look just like me. And for those that don't, I still welcome them to upgrade and improve themselves, because I'm trying to improve myself as well every day. So that's a different world for me. And with COVID, it just amplified even more because I was already doing it before that. I've been doing that for years.
That's huge. I mean, you definitely touched on something, and this is something that I experienced on both ends. So I hold myself accountable, putting myself out there again, but I hold myself accountable on both ends as far as, you know, support black businesses, but when it's time to get to the checkout, it's I don't know, you know what I mean? So you know, when we experience that, do we turn the other cheek, or we address it and say like, hey, you know, because I recently experienced this. If I'm charging you, say $100 to talk to me, you know, I'm doing my consulting, and you know it's time to check out, and it's been like 2 or 3 days, you didn't pay me, I'm not gonna run you down for the money. I'm like, you're just gonna expose yourself, right? So then I'm gonna realize, like, okay, I probably won't work with you again, but I gotta tell you what you did wrong, right? Because I'd rather tell you than the next man, and you don't want, you know what I'm saying? So I've experienced that in business, but to see us come together and do things like this, I think this is special. You know, to again share that insight. I come from Southside Jamaica, Queens, so I've seen, you know, just the worst of the upbringing. You know, raised by my aunt, you know, adopted by my aunt, grew up fatherless and adopted, whatever the case may be. But when it comes to black businesses, man, like, again, you know, this conversation is extremely helpful. Connecting with other partners and building those relationships is, you know, is extremely important, but supporting one another is extremely important. So if I know I can't, you know, say, you know, Miss Jones wants to work with me as far as consulting goes, but she wants to know my background, and I'm inexperienced, right? I don't have the right tools, and you're giving me, you know, your last $10,000. I can't help you, Miss Jones, but I know who can. Brandon Powell. So again, it's all about, you know, just keeping it in that circle of connections, you know, making the right referral. It's just like personal training, right? If I am a weight loss specialist, right, and you're more into, say, powerlifting, right, and someone walks into the gym and they just want to powerlift, then they go to you. I think another thing that, you know, destructs business and culture is when people get the client they're not ready for, that they don't know anything about, and they're scared to say they don't know, or they're inexperienced. Can you touch on that? And can you also touch on black businesses that are not holding themselves accountable to operating like a business? That's huge.
Well, I think part of that is to the second question. Part of that is a lack of training and experience, and that's across the board. I've met small business owners of all ethnicities. They have the same challenges. It's just that it's amplified when you run across more of it that look like you. But for me, I've seen it. I've seen the same challenges across the board where our zeal does not match our business acumen, meaning we are ready to make it happen, and that's okay. But then not having that third party available to help guide and make sure you don't bump your head. And usually, if you work long enough in business, you'll figure it out. You just will bump your head along the way. And it's all about not doing that as much, because you can chop down a tree with a hammer. It'll probably take you 30 days. or you can use a chainsaw and it'll take you 3 minutes. So that's usually the challenge, is that for African American businesses, our zeal is there. We want to do better for ourselves, and our intentions are right in a lot of cases. It's just that we can get down on ourselves because we don't know if we can actually do it, and then when we make mistakes, it just has a domino effect. But having that third party there can certainly help avoid that.
Man, Brandon, you're dropping so much gems today, man. You're saying stuff that's like spot on, and I'm like, yo, look, I'm so glad you said that. I actually lost my confidence in being in the business of real estate because of the lack of information and the resources, because I wasn't connecting myself, right? I wasn't holding myself accountable to absorbing this information. So it's, again, you're talking on so much different stuff, but what I'm realizing as I'm sitting here with you today is I pretty much failed my way here, pretty much, right? I turned the lessons into blessings and I invested in that. But what you're saying is spot on. Again, can you say that one more time? Can you just say that one more, like the lack of information?
Well, sometimes I get so excited in the moment that I even forget my own point. So tell me the last part that you want.
Yeah, I'll tell you again. Look, the lack of information can cripple a business. Lack of information, lack of resources, it could cripple a business. As they say, doubt kills more dreams than fear does, right? So if you don't know about the stock market, you're not going to invest. You might think you're going to get lucky, but it doesn't work that way. Same thing with business. You don't just get lucky in business. You got to build relationships and connect with people like Brandon, right? And have these conversations, because obviously you walk this earth longer than me. You've seen things that I haven't seen yet. You've experienced things I haven't seen yet, right? So everything that you've seen and you've experienced, you're shedding that light here today and just learning how to operate and move as a business. Again, I don't have any of this. I don't know how to run a business, right? I learned from studying success and studying another successful blueprint. So to hear you touch on consulting, we're seeing, America slowly open up. Some are in a rush to go, right? And there are some that's like, okay, all right, I'm gonna let the first wave go up first and I'll see what happens. But is there something that we could do? I know that we all don't have the answers, but if something like this was to happen again, what can we do to prepare as far as just like a business?
Wow, you coming with the great questions today. I would say it's probably good to develop a product or service that is versatile and scalable. So I'm going to share this with you. I can't go into a whole lot of details. It hasn't been launched yet. But again, almost 9-10 months ago, before COVID came up, I was already working on something that speaks to what you're talking about. I was working on launching a new company, and I actually picked a few of my own clients. See, this is what it's all about as well. It's elevation. So I picked a few of my own clients and invited them to be part owners in a company that I was starting, make it a joint venture. And then that business model is dedicated to educating small business owners like yourself and many others. Young, old, it didn't matter. Everybody needs the same information for the most part. And so with that business model, to make it insulated against, COVID and different circumstances, it's what's called a low threshold, high volume model. And so what you do is we're creating training modules covering these exact kind of principles, and you allow people to pay a membership. You pay, it's a 2-tier model, and anybody can do this. All you have to do is say, you know what, is there an expertise that I have that I've dedicated at least a year to 5 years in? If you spend time in that area, you want to repurpose that in multiple ways. One of the ways you can do that is create your own educational platform that people can purchase. Guess what? If it's $35 a month or $99 a month, it's not a lot of money, but if you get 1,500 people to do that, it is worth it. And so I would recommend repurposing your intellectual property, the knowledge that you have, repurpose it. I can tell you for hours how I repurpose information. There's no way I'm going to learn something and I only use it one way. It just does not, there's no way I would do that. It has to be transferable. The same information that I have, I do in workshops. I'm releasing my 5th book, the same content to educate others in the same way. You have to repurpose it.
Yes. Yes. Oh, man. Spot on, man. If you're not collecting emails, you're not building a business. You're not building a business. If you're not collecting emails, you're not building a business. I actually met a personal trainer last year. I'm going to share this quick success story. I actually met a private personal trainer last year. I believe his gym is in Salem, New York. He was explaining to me and my friend, he's like, do you guys know how I got this gym? I'm like, yeah, bro, I got a gym. He's like, my clients bought this gym for me. Like they legit paid for it. They paid for everything. I'm like, you're training clients? Like, yeah, they've been working with me for 7 to 10 years. I'm like, you retained a client for 10 years? Then I'm like, oh, you got a gym? But it's the product of the result, right? So that, again, to what you just said, if you're giving your clients, guys, are you hearing this live? If you're giving your clients results, if you're giving your clients what they want, what will they give you in return, Brandon? They will give you what you want in return. If you give life everything you have, it will reward you with everything in return. To see a personal trainer have his own establishment based on success stories and client testimonials from personal training clients, to hear a business consultant have multiple startup services because of his clients investing in that, that's huge. No, you know what's, I'm gonna even tell you even better. You know how, Krislin's right here, perfect. I actually got this entire setup in studio through a former personal training client of mine that's worked with me for 2 years. He's right here. Kristin, wanna come say hi? Okay. Say hi. Like legit, legit. If it wasn't for, come on, it's okay. We're live.
My hair?
No, hey, there you go.
Hey.
All right. But yeah, like it's just to attest to my point. I wouldn't have this entire setup. I wouldn't have this show if it wasn't for, you know, again, a client. And that's just me holding myself accountable. So to piggyback on what you said, that is spot on, man. Because that's my reality right now. So that's huge.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations to you, man. You are doing some excellent work. I can tell. I know value when I hear it. And I tell people all the time, I get paid to listen. So I know value when I hear it.
Well, you know, Brandon, I appreciate that now. I appreciate that. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I was bragging because I had you on the flyer. I was telling all my boys, I'm like, yeah, man, I got Brandon Powell. They're like, who? I'm like, $450 to speak for an hour. Listen, please believe me, this brother know what he talking about. And I was just so excited because hypothetically speaking, like subconsciously, I did not know this event was going to fall on June 19th. It's just the way the universe rewarded it. It wasn't my plan at all. But I wanted to connect with you a long time ago when I first connected with you on LinkedIn, and you shared so much messages on, you know, just this time slot that you had here today, man, that I could run a mile with this, man. That's it. You don't have to do much for me. I'm the type of person, you can say, yo, great job. Yo, you said great job. It does a lot.
Well, you add value. And I just, you know, if I see it, I'm going to say it.
I greatly appreciate that, man. You know, I wanted to, again, do this event to bring awareness to black businesses. Along with, I have my first book coming out in a couple weeks, Sweats to Suits. It's all about, you know, surrendering to your transformation. For me, I'll touch on that real quick. It's all about, you know, me being who I was called to be, right? To be Yahavy David St. Clair, to be innovative, to be the speaker, to be motivating, to be the father, you know, to be the older brother, the uncle. That's just me stepping in my position. Believe me, the much is given, much is required, but I want to make sure that I, you know, bring as much value to, you know, this platform. And with you as well, man, because this could have went left. This could have been really bad. No, I got my aunt watching. But before we go, before I let you go, do we have any questions from the audience that you guys would like to ask Brandon? Anyone that's tuning in, if you guys would like to ask Brandon any questions, feel free. Let us know. We'll I'll take a quick question before I let you go, Brandon.
Just assume that we're all set up for that. Yeah, are they asking that?
If anyone has like a business question or anything like that, you know what? Another thing that I'm amazed at, Brandon, I can tell you one thing. I'm not an opportunist, but when someone is like sharing knowledge that translates into dollars, I'm listening. Right? Every wise man was once a fool, but to run away from wisdom, where are you running to? Come on now. Come on now. Don't like, if their hour is worth this much and you could ask a question that could change your life for the rest of your life, hesitation? You just lost the life that you could have had because of hesitation. Y'all think Brandon gonna come here again next week? Please believe me, this man is booked and busy. All right, sure. St. Clair Speaks Show. But if we don't have any questions, perfect. Brandon, again, I want to thank you for your time today. You touched on so many different points. You did a lot for me. You did a lot for the people that's going to watch this video, and thank you again.
Thank you for having me. I definitely appreciate it. I wish you much success. You definitely bring a lot of value to what you're doing, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. Brandon, since I got you on live, I'm going to ask you for a favor, right? Now, this is a random favor. You could say no. I'm cool with overcoming objections. I was thinking, right? I looked at my flyer and I said to myself, I'm like, I could actually host a high ticket speaking event with everyone on my flyer. Please believe me. I actually can. I would love to, in the future, because we'll come down to Texas. We'll come down. Me and the team, we'll come down. I would love to connect with you further, work with you on some collaboration speaking stuff that I'll be doing in the near future. I would love to, of course, have you headline with me in future events.
Yeah, I mean, I have 75 strategic partners for a reason. I always am open. I'm always open. So what we can do is we can talk offline.
I ain't gonna feed my Judases that's watching now. All right, we're gonna talk about it offline though. I'm gonna hit you up now. I appreciate that, man. I'm just looking at myself right now, and again, it's all smiles. And I want to say this, guys, before I let Brandon go. If you don't extend your arm out and ask people for help, how are you supposed to get it? Right? I could have let fear stop me from asking Brandon for a favor, which he doesn't mind doing, right? But I could have overthought it so much that I lost the opportunity. That's big, guys. Some opportunities in life only come once.
I'll tell you something else I'll be willing to do for those that took the time out to listen today. I'm willing to dedicate a 15 to 30 minute free strategy session because maybe I didn't cover everything specifically that they need or actually had questions about and want to ask more privately. So if they visit my website, it's lohcstrategy.com. Just use the promo code LOHC34 and it'll come through. My team will review it and we'll honor a 15 to 30 minute strategy session just for them. Again, the normal rate is $4.50 an hour, but we'll waive it because you are tuning in to the great St. Clair Speaks Show.
You hear that, guys? Listen. All right, free 99. Please believe me. Thank me later. All right. Oh man, Brandon, thank you again, guys. Again, check out Brandon Powell's website. Sign up right now. Schedule your free strategy call. This is a one-time opportunity only. Don't hit me up next month. Yo, bro, you still got Brandon's connection? No, I'm not. Listen, link him now. All right, guys? I'll talk to you soon. St. Clair Speaks Show. To today's message is, the real work begins here. within. When you find your passion, when you find your calling, you'll know when you find your passion. That's when I want you to apply to be my next guest. What's going on, guys? It's Yahavy. St. Clair Speaks. You are now tuned in to the St. Clair Speaks Show. As a business. And man, Mac, man, like honestly, I ain't gonna get emotional on live. I ain't gonna do that. You ain't gonna make me cry on live. But I can tell you one thing. I can tell you one thing. Anyone that's watching this, I was at a complete different mental point when I met Mac, and I had a scarcity mentality. So anything that came my way, I was a little skeptical about it. But that was fear robbing me of the opportunity to change my life. So when I met Mac, I was on a 10. I'm like, yo, bro, I sell these tickets in the street. And what impressed him the most was the fact that I sold tickets in the street, but I'm at a professional networking event with a beautiful blue blazer, by the way, and a nice red tie. But the point of the matter is, you never know.
You look like a preacher. He looked like a preacher that night. He looked like a preacher.
Come on, I gotta take him to church now. But look, you never know who's in the room, guys. You never know who's in the room. Be on the lookout because we got a Hack with Mac, St. Clair Speaks Show. We have a lot more in the way. So this is not the last that you see of Mac. You're going to see him on the tour too. We are helping brands and businesses grow across the world. We're going to start in New York City. We'll go to Connecticut, Texas, Miami. We're going all over. When I first...
Let's do it.
I'm going to say this before I let you go, Mac. One of the things that caught my attention, Mac, head on, he was like, yo, you told me this. He was like, yo, I'm going to make $1 million this year. I'm like, say what? I'm like, okay, me too. And like, that's it. Shoot for the stars.